All right, photography students, welcome to our first lesson on using Lightroom for batch editing and creating contact sheets. So for our photography assignment, we are doing a study in motion through fast shutter speeds, and we're getting this inspiration from Edward Muybridge and the famous horse bet over here. We've already spoken about this in class and its significance. It was really the first time we realized that we can use photography as a way to create motion picture, and it became a way for people back in the 1800s to study animals and humans in motion on a way that their eyes have never been able to capture before. They went crazy with trying to study everything in motion, and it's a super cool body of work. We actually have the copy of the book in class in case anyone is interested to check it out. But hopefully by now you should have photographed your study in motion and are ready to upload your work into Lightroom. To create this effect, we are going to be exporting our photographs as contact sheets. And just a reminder to show you where contact sheets come from. That's from film photography when we were photographing negatives. We were unable to actually see what our photographs were because they were inversed, hence the name negatives. We would need to convert these into positives, and to do that, we would want to jump into the darkroom and put a single negative in an enlarger to print that thing on light sensitive paper and have a nice final print to hang on the wall. Now, it's a little difficult to pick which picture to make big when we have so many different negatives to choose from. So that's where contact sheets come in. Photographers, and we still do this, we would line all these negatives up on a single piece of paper and print the entire contact sheet, as it's called. And once the contact sheet's out, we would then circle our favorite ones or box them with a red Sharpie of some sort, and we would know which ones we actually want to keep and blow up to a much bigger scale. So Lightroom still has a way for us to create contact sheets, and it's going to be something I'm going to ask you guys to do a lot in our class. It's really a way for me to see what you photographed and to prove to me that you photographed a lot. Because contact sheets are meant to show every single photograph that you captured in a photo shoot, and it gives me a quick understanding of what you've been up to with your camera and how seriously you've taken an assignment. And it also lets me know maybe there's another image that stood out to me that you missed, and I wanted to touch base with you and say, hey, what about this one? I mean, you're choosing this one, which is really cool, but it lets me take a look at other pictures that maybe you didn't think were awesome, and I personally felt that they were awesome. So let's jump into Lightroom. I've plugged in my memory card into Lightroom. I'm gonna do all of our normal settings. For my study in motion, it's just an example. It's gonna be my dog catching a ball. Pretty straightforward. Let's organize this into Lightroom. Let's do 2024-09 for September 16. And I'll even do fast aperture assignment. I'll choose to put it in there. I'm going to rename my file to match the date. 09/16. So my name here, underscore the date, underscore import number. And to get import number, remember if I delete that, we just insert it from down here. That way everything's properly numbered. And then I'll put it into a subfolder called captured to organize my raw files from my final exports. And I want to make sure that this says into one folder. Let's click import. All right, while we're waiting for my photographs to upload to Lightroom, let's take a look at our assignments again. So we're creating a study in motion inspired by Edward Muybridge. Your photographs, they need to be sharp and in focus. I would recommend no slower than 1/500th of a second, and there should be 12 photographs on a single contact sheet to show our study in motion. So that's what we are uploading over here. Going back over here, it looks like most of them finished. So here we have a picture of my dog Kodak. I clicked spacebar to get here from the grid, G for the grid, spacebar to look at the single individual picture. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the develop module. And this is where we actually edit our photographs. And I haven't taught you anything yet how to use the develop module, so this will be the first intro. This little pick over here, it's the white balance. The white balance picker will change the white balance based on what you click. And you're trying to click something white or something neutral gray in your photograph to get a correct white balance. So if we click it either on the wall or even on her white fur, and that will help us edit in proper colors. Our exposure is kind of a quick way to brighten and darken everything. Typically I'll use shadows, let's see, or open up my darks down here instead of the exposure, because I want to maintain some other aspects such as the highlights, that you get those lost when you just bring up the exposure altogether, because we want to make sure it's all balanced. So playing with the highlights, lights, darks, and shadows is a great way to start editing any photographs. You can add just a tiny bit of clarity, maybe a tiny bit of texture, not too much because it could look a little fake if you add too much. And if you want to sharpen it, if you just click over here, you could zoom in to her eye and add some sharpness. Click it again to zoom out to see which parts are being sharp or not. Let's see, and if you need to show or hide anything, you can click those little arrows to open it up or down. Typically I have basic open, tone curve, color mixer. I keep color grading closed, details open. Lens correction, that could be pretty helpful. If you have a wide lens, you'll get some profile distortion. So this is enable profile correction, we can check that on. And chromatic aberration, we can check that on as well. Transform, lens blur, I'll leave those off. Effects I sometimes have on if I'm trying to make something with more grain to give it a film look, but I'm going to leave that off for now. And that should be enough to get us started. So I'm going to finish up my edit over here. I think it looks pretty good. And where are we on our below? I'm going to use the arrow key because I'm a little lost. Here we are. So here I've edited my picture. If you want to see before and after, click the backslash, which is right of the brackets. So look at your keyboard, look at the letter P, and go right 1, 2, 3 times. And that backslash is to reveal how it looked before your edit and after. All right, so before, after. And this is a really cool tool over here. If we click our first picture and we know we photographed everything in the same lighting and we are planning to do the same exact edit, what we can do is scroll to the end, hold Shift on your keyboard, and click the last one. And now I've highlighted all of the ones in this sequence. And because I use continuous shooting, I have a lot of pictures. So now I'm going to click Sync over here. This is going to pop up and it's going to ask me if I want what specific edits am I going to synchronize with all the rest of the photos. Let's see here, treatment profile, basic. I'm checking all of this on. Transform is how you crop it, and we don't want to change that right now, so I think we're good. Effects, there's no effects, so we'll uncheck that. And then the calibration, I believe we did. No, we did not do that. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna click synchronize. And then now we just did a batch edit. So all of these photos are now following the exact same edit as my very first one. Now I definitely have too much photographs, so I need to take some out. And if I hold Command on my keyboard, then it's actually gonna help me deselect a single one. So if I hold Command, watch that, a single one goes away. because we want to make sure we're only doing about 12 photos. And we want to choose the ones where we notice her range of motion changing. Bit of a tedious process, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to get that 27 selected down to 12. Okay, so we have 12 selected. And now to make the contact sheet with our 12 selected, we're going to click Print over here. On the very left, we have Lightroom templates. We're going to click this one over here, the 4x5 contact sheet. And we already see our 12 on the screen. And we're going to change some settings on the right. The page grid is where we can adjust that so that it matches with seeing all 12. So a 4-row by 3-column. That looks great. I'm going to uncheck image cells. I can uncheck margin and gutters. I'm going to uncheck page bleeds. Let's see. Then we have our file names showing over here as well. That's what it's like without it, but sometimes it could be nice, especially when you're looking at your contact sheet, to know which file you need to edit, so keep that on. Font size is fine. In case you prefer having a landscape orientation, you can click Page Setup, and you can change that to landscape over there. And then you have a better way to view it depending on the type of photographs you captured. We're going to click Printer and PDF at the bottom left. And let's go find where we want to put it in our Finder. I think this is the correct folder. And do Export over here. And then I'll title it Contact Sheet. All right, so that just exported. We're gonna go look for it in our Finder. Let's see here. And now we have a PDF of our contact sheet. If I double click that, I see it right over here, and I can see our study in motion. All right, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope this helped. And remember, we are submitting this for our assignment. All right, good luck.